Now, let us discuss electric field. So, first is, what is electric field? If I say it is a region around the charge, okay, if there is any charge particle, then the region around that charge particle is called electric field, and where if another charge particle is placed, it experiences electrostatic force. So, I will say that this is a region, and if I place a charge object which is having some charge, mass will definitely be associated, then it is experiencing some force, it is trying to go in that direction, it is due to that it is experiencing some force, and due to which it tries to move, then I will say here there exists some electric field. Okay, there is a electric field present in this region. Who will be creating that field? The another charge. If another charge which is not there in the situation as of now, so this another charge might be visible to you or might not be visible to you, but it is the one who is creating this field, and this is another charge which is experiencing this electric field in terms of force. So now let us discuss how do you define your electric field. So the strength of electric field is nothing but it is called electric field intensity. And how do you define your electric field intensity? Electric field intensity at any point is equal to the electrostatic force experienced by a unit positive point charge, right? Both in magnitude and direction. So if you want to get, suppose there is some electric field present over here and you are putting Q charge, and now it is experiencing some force, and I am putting positive charge. You can't put the negative charge because it is mentioned in the question is equal to the unit positive point charge. So positive is important, right? Now force experienced by this is F. Then at this particular point, let us say this point is A, then you will say electric field intensity at point A is nothing but force experienced per unit charge. So F charge is experienced by Q charge. So we'll say F by Q is force per unit charge. And what about the direction? Direction of force and direction of electric field is same, given that this charge is positive. We cannot apply it for negative charge. Same formula, we are learning that if a test charge Q0 is placed at a point where an electric field, so this is the point where we are putting a test charge Q0 and it is experiencing a force F vector, then field at this point is nothing but Q0 by F. So this is the formula which you need to remember. So electric field at that point is F by Q0, force per unit charge. Now let us discuss properties of electric field intensity. So first it is a vector quantity. Electric field strength or electric field intensity is a vector quantity, and its direction is same as the force experienced by positive charge, not the negative one. And next is electric field due to positive charge is always away from it, and while due to the negative charge is always towards it. So basically idea is that, let us say this is a capital charge Q which is positive. Here I have to check the electric field intensity, the direction of electric field intensity. What you do is you put another positive test charge. This is a test charge and it will experience force in that direction. All of us know that this is positive, so force will be repulsive and force will be in this direction, and whatever is the direction of force, same direction will be the direction of electric field. What if this is the original charge is a negative charge? So we will say that I want to check electric field intensity at this point. So put a positive test charge and check the force. So this negative charge will attract this positive charge, and eventually this is the direction of force. So we'll say direction of electric field intensity is same as this force. So due to positive charge, it is away from the positive charge itself, or we can say radially away, and due to this negative charge, it is towards the negative charge. Now next point is its SI unit. So as we have already discussed, the formula for electric field intensity is force experienced per unit charge. So force is Newton and the charge is Coulomb. So SI unit is going to be Newton per Coulomb. What about dimension? So its dimensional formula is ml t raised to minus 3 a raised to minus 1. So I am finding it in front of you. So basically electric field intensity is nothing but Newton per Coulomb. Now Newton is what? Newton is kg meter per second square. And what about Coulomb? We already discussed when we were writing initially the dimensional formula for K. So Coulomb is not SI, we need to relate it to current. So we will say that Q is nothing, charge is nothing but I into T, current times time. So that Coulomb is nothing but ampere second. So I am writing ampere second over here. So ampere and it will become second cube. And that gives me m raised to 1, L, length, meter is a length, length raised to 1, time raised to minus 3, this is the time, and this is A, ampere raised to minus 1. And that is the dimensional formula for electric field intensity. Now, properties of electric field intensity. Next property is electric force on a charge Q placed in a region of electric field at any point where the electric field intensity is E is given by F is equal to Q times E. So see, at any particular point, how have we defined E? Electric field intensity is nothing but force experienced per unit charge. Now, if you want to get the force, so this is the point where the electric field intensity is A. It is a charge Q is when placed over here is experiencing F force, F vector force, and that we will say F vector is nothing but Q times E vector. So it is important that you remember this relationship. So this is the force experienced by Q charge when placed in E electric field intensity. Now next is electric force on a point charge. On a point charge is in the same direction if it is a positive charge, and it is in the opposite direction given that it is negative charge. So at this point, if this is the electric field is in this direction, if you put a positive charge over here, the force will be in same direction. It's the reverse thing which we are doing. And then if this is the electric field intensity at this particular point and you put a negative point charge, then the force experienced will be in the opposite direction to that of electric field intensity. So again, in this formula, F is equal to QE. If you put your Q with proper sign, so if Q is positive, direction of E and F is same. If Q is negative, then direction of F and E is opposite one. Now next property come to be, it obeys the superposition of principle. So like forces, if we say the net amount of force on any point charge is vector addition of all the forces, then it is force per unit charge only, right? So force per unit charge, that is electric field intensity, will also obey the principle of superposition. So we will say that this is nothing but F1 by Q, this is nothing but F2 by Q, this is nothing but F3 by Q. So we can say this is electric field intensity due to charge 1, this is electric field intensity due to charge 2, this is electric field intensity due to charge 3. And if there are more than one charges present, at any point we can get electric field intensity due to each, and then we can do vector addition to get the net amount of electric field intensity. Now let us find the electric field due to a point charge. So this is a point charge which is placed at O, and at this point P, I want to get electric field intensity which is situated at R vector. R vector is the position of this point P with respect to the charge placed regarding, like it is with respect to this particular point O. So now I will say how do we define it? It is defined as force per unit charge. So see which charge it is. This is a test charge. So for that you have to place a small q over here and get the amount of force. So if we say force on that charge, how much is that? That is K Q1 Q2 by R square and divide by Q. This Q gets cancelled and we get KQ. This is K. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is K. So it is KQ by R square. What about the direction? Direction is same as this R vector. It is basically radially away. So we will say direction is same as R vector. So for direction we are putting R cap in front of it. So at the end the electric field is KQ by R square in magnitude. And if you want to get a vector formula, then you can say it is magnitude times the direction, and direction is R cap. So now let us discuss electric lines of force. So what are electric lines of force, or also known as electric field lines? Basically they are imaginary path on which a unit positive test charge moves when released in the field. So if in this region there exists some electric field, then any charge which we keep would experience a force. And now if I am putting a charge over here and it is experiencing force in that direction, then I will say that force is nothing but QE. We had already discussed that. And now we will say that there exist electric field lines which should be along that, right? And if after some time when this charge moves over here and it is experiencing force in that direction, then field lines should be going that way. So they are imaginary lines. They are not actually there. So they are just imaginary lines which are there to explain the field or to explain the region, that how electric field behaves. So for that we draw some imaginary lines known as electric field lines or electric lines of force. Now let us discuss some properties of them, so you will get better to know them. Now, first property, they usually originate from a positive charge and they end with a negative charge. So this is a positive charge and these are electric field lines which are basically originating. Now where are they going? In case we have only positive charge, then they start from the positive charge and go all the way up to infinity and in all direction, given that only positive charge is there. So this is how field lines looks like due to a positive charge, which is also shown over here. So electric field lines due to a single positive charge looks like something like this, going, they are known to be going radially out of the charge. And what if our charge is negative? Then they start from infinity and come to the charge. So they originate from positive charge, end at negative charge. And if there is positive and negative charge both present, then basically they originate from positive and go all the way up to negative charge. So this is the first property of electric field lines. Next is the number of lines leaving a positive charge or entering a negative charge. Negative charge are directly proportional to the magnitude of the charge. For example, I have charge. I have two charge. I don't know, this is X and this is Y. And they have, like, I have been given a pattern. So here the three field lines are leaving like this. And on Y, there are 6 field lines which are basically entering. So first thing which I can tell is X is what? X is positive charge because field lines are exiting it. And Y is nothing but a negative charge. And what is the relationship? See, it is not compulsory that you draw 3 lines. But if there are 3 lines for a particular charge and there are 6 lines for a particular other charge, then the charge Y has to be twice of the charge X. So I will say the Y is nothing but twice X in magnitude, and one is positive, one is negative. So this is positive, so Y is negative of twice X. So this is how you can relate them. So this is the second property of electrical field lines. Next is no two electrical field lines can intersect each other. What will happen if they intersect? See, what is electric field at any point represent? So electric field at any point represent the net electric field, which is force per unit charge, and that should be net force per unit charge. So at this point, let us say there exist 2 field lines. One is this field line and other is this field line. Both passes through this point. So this field line is going like this and this field line is going like this. At this particular point of intersection, if you put a small charge Q, then as per our first field line, the force must be along the electric field line, and that is the net force. And as per our field line number 2, the net force should be in this direction. So a positive charge experiences force in the same direction as the direction of electric field line. And now this situation is not possible because a single charge at a single time cannot experience 2 net force. There might be individual force and we can find the net, but as per the situation, both of these has to be net electrostatic force, and at a single point there can't exist 2 net forces, and hence we will say this entire situation is not even possible. So we'll say 2 field lines can never intersect each other. Now next property is they never form electric field lines, they never form a complete closed loop. What will happen if they form the complete closed path? So suppose there is a electric field line which is forming a complete closed loop. Now if you slowly move a charge from point A to B, C and D and then back to A. So along one complete loop, if you move the point charge Q, then here the direction of force and the displacement is basically same. So there is a work done, like force times displacement. So work done will be add up. Here the force is in this direction and displacement is in this direction. Here the force is in this direction and displacement is in this direction. So throughout complete closed loop, there will be some non-zero work done by the electric field, which is against the conservative nature of the electric field. If we find the work done in one complete closed path, then that has to be zero. And if it is not zero, means this situation is again not even possible. So electric field lines can never form a closed loop. They always originate from somewhere. From where? From positive charge, or they originate from infinity. And they always end somewhere where either they end at negative charge or they end at infinity. Now next property is they contract longitudinally, that is lengthwise, and producing attraction between opposite charges, and expand laterally, producing repulsion between similar charges. So field lines kind of behaves as a elastic strings which have been stressed and they are trying to compress. So here they are trying to decrease the length, and due to which they will kind of attract, like these will produce the attraction between these two charges, the positive and negative. This is a field pattern due to a positive and negative charge, and this is a field pattern due to two positive charges. So here if they are in same direction, two field lines going in same direction kind of repel each other, and hence they will produce the repulsion between both the charges here. And here two field lines going in the same here the field lines are kind of trying to contract, and here they are kind of trying to expand. So we will say here they are producing attraction and here they are producing repulsion. Now next is the number of lines per unit area crossing a surface at any point, okay, is proportional to the strength, electric field strength or electric field intensity at that particular point. And hence the line of force are closely spaced where the electric field intensity is higher, and it is basically widely separated where electric field intensity is lesser. So look at this case. Here the field lines are moving kind of away from each other. So if we talk about here, the average electric field I am saying is E2 in magnitude, and here electric field is E1 in magnitude. Here they are closely spaced, here they are separated. So this we can say E2 is kind of greater than E1. So here the field has to be stronger and here the field has to be lesser or weak. Now what if they are equally spaced? If they are equally spaced, then number of field line in this region and this region is same. So we will say the electric field in strength in this region and this region is same, and hence that represent a uniform electric field. So field is called uniform if the field lines are parallel, and field is non-uniform if field lines are getting separated from each other or they are moving towards each other. So here as we are moving in this direction, field is becoming weaker, stronger, and here if we are moving in this direction, field is becoming weaker, and here if we are moving in this direction, then field remains same in magnitude. So that's what our uniform electric field is. Now let us discuss the next property. So electric field lines also gives us indication of equipotential surface. So what are equipotential surface? We are going to do detailed study of equipotential surface in our next section. So as of now we will just say that equipotential surfaces are surfaces which has the same potential. So how potential and electric field lines are related? So we'll say electric field lines are always directed from higher potential to lower potential. Means if this point is having higher potential and this point is having lower potential, then electric field lines will be going in that direction. Alternatively, we can say if we go in the direction of electric field, then potential kind of decreases. So if we are going along the direction of field line, then this region is having higher potential and this region is having lower potential. So this indication is given by electric field lines that when we move in the direction of electric field, potential decreases. If we go in the opposite direction of the electric field lines, then potential increases as we are moving from a point of lower potential to higher potential. Next is in a region where there is no electric field lines, or we can say field lines are absent, the field will be zero. Okay, so if we say there is a region, for example, we have seen this is a positive charge and this was a positive charge. So field lines were going like this. So there was no field line in this region. Means the electric field at this particular point is zero. So inside the conductor. Also, we can say electric field is zero. We had derived that using Gauss's theorem. So, since electric field inside the conductor is zero, we can also say there cannot be any electric field lines inside a conductor. Next is the electric lines of force end or start normally from the surface of a conductor. So, if we have a conductor surface, if it is positively charged, then basically field lines goes, and that has to be perpendicular to the surface. And now after that they can go in any random direction, but when they start from the positively charged surface of a conductor, they start in a perpendicular manner. And if it is a sphere of having a negative charge, then here this is a conductor surface having negative charge, so here field lines will enter, but again this direction also has to be perpendicular. So this is how field lines has to enter or exit. They always have to be perpendicular to the surface. If it is a positively charged surface, then they will exit in a perpendicular manner, and if it is a negatively charged surface, then they will enter with their direction perpendicular to the surface. Let us do a question. So what does this question says? The question says that electric field lines are shown in the figure. This is the region where electric field lines are showing. Now, which of the following is correct? Options are that electric field at point A is greater than electric field at point B. Electric field at B is greater. Electric field at point A and B both are equal, and none of these. So first thing is that here in this region field lines are more closer, and more closer means field is bigger over here or field is stronger over here when compared to B. So we will say electric field at point A is greater than, like electric field strength or electric field intensity is greater at point A when compared to point B. So our option is A correct.